Hi everyone, we are from group 7. In this video, we are going to talk about meaning or semantics. There are several topics in our discussion, such as word meaning, semantic field, coping with overlaps, synonym and opposites, classification or inclusion, fuzziness and family resemblance, making sense of the world, and the meaning of sentences. The first topic is word meaning. There are three preliminary points of word meaning. The first one, we should concern primarily with content words rather than with function words, because the content words' role is mainly to show the relationship between syntactic units. The second one is dealing only with straightforward descriptive meaning and ignoring the stereotype called emotive meaning or connotation. The third one must be aware that meaning is double-faced. Meaning is dependent on relationship between the other words in the system. Linguists regard language system and outside world as complementary. They examine first one, then the other, starting with the internal relationship between linguistics elements. The next topic will be semantic field. As the linguist, it is important to deal with the lexical structure of a language rather than with isolated words. In such a situation, it is useful to look at groups of lexical items which seem to belong together, sometimes known as a lexical field. Each item in a group or set can be defined by its place in relation to the other member of the set. Such a study can give a useful picture of the way in which a particular semantics area is divided up. By looking at the words clustered in a particular semantic field is a useful early stage in exploration, but gaps and overlaps can always be found. The third topic of our discussion will be coping with overlaps. The attempt to divide lexical items into component parts is known as componential analysis. It feels fairly familiar because dictionaries often perform a similar type of analysis in an informal manner. Componential analysis accounted naturally for overlaps, since one could point to components which were apparently shared by overlapping words such co. The whole approach wrongly suggests that if we look a little more carefully, we might be able to sort out all of them. People tend to talk of words having semantic properties, which is somewhat more satisfactory, since it doesn't imply that these properties are building blocks which need to be assembled.
On to the next, we have synonym and opposite. Before we going to discuss synonym and opposite, of course, you have to understand clearly to gain a fuller understanding of how lexical items hang together within a language. We need to look at the different types of relationship which exist between words. The synonym and opposite of word can give valuable insight into its links with the rest of the vocabulary. Lexical items can be regarded as synonymous if they can be interchanged without altering the meaning of an utterance. For the example, he snapped the twig in half, he broke the twig in half. Snap and broke, they can be interchanged without altering the meaning of an utterance. By studying interchangeable items, a linguist can build up a picture of those with similar meanings. Well, perfect synonymy is rare. It means it's very unusual for two lexical items to have exactly the same meaning in all contexts. Take a look at the example between snapped and broke. For the example, He snapped his finger doesn't mean he broke his finger. Let's take a look at another example between snap and broke. For example, he broke the record for the 100-meter sprint. He snapped the record for the 100-meter sprint. They are an acceptable sentence. It's so that a lexical item so only particularly overlaps another, and the two are synonymous only in current context. So now we are going to discuss about opposite. Lexical item can be regarded as opposite if they have a pair of words in which the negative of one implies the other. For the example, he is not married, he is single. Not married and single are a pair of words in which the negative of one implies the other. A second type of opposite is which is not absolute but relative to some standard. For the example, what a large mouse. A large mouse, it means in comparison to normal size mouse. So it is not absolute but relative to some standard. A third, a third type is when one word is the converse of the other. For the example, I give you the book, you take the book. Give and take show that one word is the converse of the other. On to the next part, we have classification. Classification, also known as inclusion, is a useful way of examining lexical relationships because it reveals the vocabulary is particularly hierarchically structured. As we can see right now, clarinet and hook are classified as wines. Tea and coffee are referred to as beverages, and wines and beverages both come under the heading of drinks. This indicates that vocabulary of language is particularly hierarchically structured. Advantage of looking at these different relationships are they enable us to understand the multiple links between different words. They can sometimes be expressed by means of logical notation. So now we are going to discuss fuzziness and family resemblances. Fuzziness is another problem. Words often have fuzzy edge. There is no absolute divide between a mug and a cup, a glass and a vase, or a plate and a saucer. They all merge into one another. People use them inconsistently, calling something a vase one day and a glass the next. They might call it vase if it held flowers and a glass if it held the oranges. Family resemblances create further difficulties. These problems indicate that it is impossible to set down fixed meaning for all words. Human, it turns out, understand one another not by learning fixed definition, but by working from a prototype or typical example. A prototypical bird is likely to be something like a robin, with a beak, wing, stick-like legs, and ability to fly. Penguin or emu is still savagely like a bird to be regarded as a bird, even though it is not as such a normal prototypical bird. This flexibility allows a great number of things to be classified as bird, even a one leg, a one wing, without a beak.
Making sense of the world. Humans, it appears, build themselves mental models in order to make sense of the world around them. In a simple case, as with birds, they decide which bird is the best or most typical bird. But they also form ideas about more abstract concepts, often based on their own culture. The example is English speakers regard a week as having 6 days, divided into 5 working days followed by a weekend, though nothing in the external world forces this viewpoint. The term mental model was coined by psychologists for images people construct of the world, but the phenomenon is of wide interest, and other names have been adopted. The word representation is preferred by those working in cultural studies. This term covers not only subconscious or inherited representation, but also those consciously put across by, say, politicians when they even euphemism, such as pinpoint strikes, to lead people into believing that bombs can be precisely dropped on particular targets. The meaning of sentences. Statement 1. The meaning of words tell us quite a lot about the meaning of sentences, since sentences are individual words linked together by means of the syntax. This enables us to understand why a sentence like "My brother is a spinster" is, if taken literally, contradictory. We would be saying that "My male sibling is an unmarried female," where male and female are opposites. Some semantics talk about such sentences as being false. Indeed, they could not possibly be true. They deal with meaning by working out conditions under which sentences will be either true or false. Statement 2. The amalgamation of word meaning and syntax not only enables us to reject anomalous utterances, it also allows us to make deduction about normal sentences. Take the sentence: "The cobra killed a rat." We conclude that a snake caused a rat to die, or going further, an animate being. A snake, a cobra, cause an animate being. A mammal, a rat to become not alive. After a sentence has been unpackaged into its underlying meaning, many linguists assume that semantic representations should be expressed in some type of formal logic. Formal logical systems can, in theory, provide formulae for the representation of the sentences of any language, and can show the logical relationships which exist between sentences. And logic has the great advantage of being able to show certain ambiguities quite clearly, like the next sentence. All the nice girls love a sailor. This could either mean every nice girl loves some sailor or other. Alice loves Joe, Mary loves Bert, and Desdemona loves Billy. Or it could mean every nice girl loves one particular sailor. His name is Jack Tar. Logic provides a precise notation in which the two different structures are clearly shown. At the moment, however, it's not clear which type of logic, if any, of those currently in use, is best for language.
That's all from us. Have a good day and see you in the next time.